officially?
We're all set.
All right. Well, first I'd like to officially open the meeting for the Revitalization Trust Fund and our first. And thank you guys for all making it here. I know technology can be challenging, but we're here, and let's get started. So, first of all, I wanted to sort of just go over the things that we really need to be able to cover as far as our agenda items go. We've had we'll take off number one, which is basically we have some good news and some not good news in terms of our donations and sponsors and so on. First of all, we have lost a number of sponsors because they can't actually do their events, and therefore they don't put up banners, and so we don't have the revenue from that. That includes the 4th of July. That includes Needham Open Studios, Charles River, the Rotary. They do actually 2 banners, one for the pancake breakfast and another one for the carnival. So that's basically depleted about $2,000 worth of revenue there. And then from some of the other things that we would normally come out of these in terms of donations, the one that will be missing this year also will be Needham New Year's, and that's another another donation that basically puts us at about a minus $3,000 for donations. So there's the not so good news. But the good news is that first of all, we had a donor who doubled their donation from 500 to 1,000 this year. That at the end of last year, that we had a donor who doubled their donation from 1,500 to 3,000. And so that has been a huge help in terms of us being able to get through the first 3 quarters of of our revenue, to be able to continue to keep the banners going up and so on. Second thing too is that because we couldn't put up banners for the first almost 2 quarters, that I was able to negotiate with our contract to be able to get $1,000 off of one of the quarterly bills, so that made it a lot easier. The second was also that we had some repair work that needed to be done to some of the poles, like the flag pole, the American flag holders and so on. There was a number of poles where the holders themselves had literally come loose or broken. And so Rick from All American said that he would then take care of those for the labor for no charge. So we just basically had to buy the replacement brackets for it. And as part of the whole, trying to help us and working with us, that we were able to do 2 things that really helped us tremendously. We had about $350 worth of brackets that we had to buy to complete that. But thanks to that doubling of that donor's donation, that we had the resources to be able to cover that with no problem. We also have the library, which will be which the banners have already gone up, and as they've been transitioning to get the funds moved in, that we'll have that to help us out as we get into the 4th quarter. But we still need to be able to raise basically another $1,000 to $1,500 so we can complete our contracts through the end of the year. So and then starting off in January, we're going to have to see how that all goes, and as to whether we'll be able to what we're going to be able to do as far as hanging goes, depending on what the what organizations can still participate. So, but we will cross that bridge as we get to it. In terms of an overall fundraising goal, if between now and December 31st we were able to raise about $5,000, that we would be able to cover the gap that we have now for going into the 4th quarter, and be able to cover what we need to be able to take care of the first quarter, which is due on January 1st. So there's that side of the money side. Now, the other thing is, and we'll talk about how to get those monies in just a minute, and that'll be more of a discussion thing. But I want to cover some of these items, especially since we're running a little later into the meeting. Next is that the town is actually working on a banner program to be able to encourage and reinforce people using masks. Actually, Cindy, who is the director of communications for the town now, media and so on, is working on that right now, and I'm hoping that sometime during next week we'll actually get feedback on that, and so that'll be a help in terms of being able to just help retailers, merchants, restaurants and retailer, box stores to be able to, individual stores to be able to actually, hopefully not have to have the discussion with people when they come in if they come in without a mask. That's been a real, it's been a real strain for the downtown businesses when people will come in without masks and then, they're asked to, could they please leave, or will they give them they will do curbside for them, or they'll try to give them other alternatives. And you can understand those are very uncomfortable conversations. So the town's trying to be able to do something to do that, and our help would be to put up the banners on Chapel Street to be able to show those off and help reinforce that message for basically the next few months anyway. And since we have some openings, that it allows us to be able to even more easily achieve that. Second is that the downtown merchants had been really concerned about just keeping the awareness of being able to work, people to being able to shop and dine in Needham, especially as we're going into this fourth quarter, which, as we know, for retail is basically a make or break time for them. And since they have to really be severely limiting the number of people in their stores, they're also at a disadvantage. So they asked if there was things that we could do that could really help just, help reinforce and create more visibility for that awareness. And I said, well, we can take the Dine and Shop Local banner that the Chamber sponsored for Chapel Street, which is our anchor banner, and do a couple little tweaks to it, and then put it out at 8 different poll locations that are not part of our regular rotation, so they can just stay up, and basically spread that message so that anybody who drives through the intersections in different directions in downtown, that they will have, the message of dining and shopping local reinforced every time they come and go. Plus, of course, we still get thousands of cars that come through the downtown, so that also helps, build the awareness of even the people who are passing by to remind them, hey, we've got great places to eat, and we're a great place to shop. So that is, there was a combination of donations that came. 50% is actually coming from the town, and which is totally awesome, and 50% is coming from the chamber, and then to make the whole thing really work for everybody, Fast Signs has also kicked in. They're not only going to produce it, but they're producing it at an even better rate, just to be able to have a contribution that they can make to this also. So it was a great partnership, and sometime during next week we should have them produced, and then they'll go up as quick as the our great town crew can get them up on the designated poles. So that's another fun thing. Other things in terms of projects that I've put out a call to the. We had talked a little bit about the project that we have been working on with the one of the landlords who wanted to do a wall mural, and so we've got just gotten back an image that could be potentially used that I think we'll all be very excited about. I'll be able to share that with you shortly. Not this moment, but very shortly. And I want to hear back from the landlord first, just to make sure that it's even a project that we can, continue to move forward on. But it creates if we can do this, that it'll be a beautiful connection, not only in terms of just making a space that really feels kind of, ungreen and make it very green, but it'll also create a great connection to Ridge Hill and the wonderful environment that's out there. The second one is an idea that we've just actually started to put together. It's we had talked before about how we had a mural planned for the wall of Needham Center Fine Wines. If you remember, they have a section, if you're walking down Chapel Street, there's the glass windows, and then you have a spot that has the solid wall, where a window had been filled in a number of years ago. And we had talked to an artist about being able to design a piece for that. And, the overall concept of that is terrific and still could be done in the future. But, but the amount of funds that need to be raised to do that, because that's a $25,000 project, because it involves creating an actual piece of art and all the things that go along into that, and paying the artist to be able to create that and so on, which is the kind of thing we always like to do, is to be able to help the artist community be able to earn a living through being able to share their art in the world. But in the meantime, I had a thought of another idea, which I wanted to run by you all, which is that we had originally put together a banner program called From Needham to the World. And if you recall, we had created a list of about 40 or 50 different people who had all lived in Needham and had gone out into the world and done really incredible things. We have such a range of amazing people that have come from Needham and done those kind of things. From, Suni Williams, and the whole space station and being an astronaut and all that. We have John Akers from IBM. We have people like W.C. Wyeth. We have the gentleman who I never get his name right, but who breeded the pansies and had done a whole variety of those kinds of things. We have people like Solar Sam, who did a whole variety of things for education, helping kids really understand the whole value of energy conservation and solar technology and all those types of things. And the list goes on. One of the things that we thought was, what if we use that spot for now as a showcase to be able to tell those people's stories graphically, so that if we would have a framework that was says basic from Needham to the world, and then inside that framework, which could be easily rotated, would be basically a layout that would tell the story of one of these people, and really show, and across the bottom, it would say something to the effect that now it's your turn. So that the kids who are growing up in Needham can see these people who have gone out and done these great things and read about them, and hopefully, be reinforced that, you come from Needham, you come from a town that has a lot of people who have really gone out and done amazing things in the world, and you can be one also. So while we're on that subject, what do you think about the idea? After you go to tell me.
I like it. I like it. I would recommend Charlie Wyckoff. He did so many, he's an inventor and did so many wonderful inventions, and he was an artist, and he lived in Needham for a long, long time. He was a selectman in the school committee.
Yeah, yeah. I see. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a
yeah.
lot of, yeah.
It was funny because I discovered this a few years ago when I was talking to actually a couple of different people at the Historical Society.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, you know, there's this person, and well, what about this person? And I was like, whoa, I mean, it's like, could we put together like a list of these things? Because this is pretty amazing. And so we started to do that. And then we actually sketched out a banner program that could help reinforce this. So we have a banner that is tied directly to this, already designed. And and this would be sort of the, you know, the companion piece to that. And the banners would rotate, but this piece could basically rotate either on, you know, quarterly basis, every 6 months, or sooner. It could be, you know, it's basically if we have if we can get the cost low enough to be able to, based on the medium that we're looking to use. And right now, I have people looking for what that medium might be, that is easily changeable, looks nice, can be out in the weather, and can be produced quickly. So, but in full color, so it's, you know, it's something that's really interesting and colorful, and you know, it's right across from the town common, and people on the street that a lot of people walk by, and so it should get a lot of exposure. And I hope that, you know, a lot of people will stop and read it and learn about these great people. So anyway, so what
I think it's a great idea too.
like it? What about you guys, Ashley? And
Yeah, I like it.
say again,
I like it.
Ashley.
Yeah, I like it too. How big would it be?
Well, the space there is 174.5 inches by 92 and 3/8 high.
Okay.
So, but the actual, it's being designed to, and of course we have to present this to the town, because
Right.
originally we were going to present the other one, but this one is more timely. But if the town, you know, is psyched about it, and the land and the both the landlord and Chris from Medium Center Fine Wines is psyched about it. You know, that's why we're in the preliminary stage here. But if they are, then we just basically have to figure out what the funding would be like. So, and which I'm actively working on now, so we have some numbers to, you know, to be able to talk about and see how that would all work.
Okay. No, I like the idea.
So, and you know, it'll bring another piece of sort of, you know, changeable art to the downtown, and you know, and another positive thing for people to feel more psyched about living in Needham, and the, you know, the value of what our town has to offer. So anyway, I'm trying to think there, and those were some of the key elements that I want to make sure we covered in the time we have. So the next piece I wanted to just talk a little bit about is what do we want to do in terms of ideas for fundraising. I know it's a tough time to be asking anybody for anything.
You know, I think a lot of people are really very favorably impressed with what the town has done as far as having the tables and whatever all set up on the common. And I think, you know, it would be a time to remind people why it looks so nice, and see if that would help, because it's a really big deal that all those restaurants have been able to be out on the street. And I think we were involved in doing the first one, which was French Press, a couple of years ago. So I think, you know, we might want to stress that and see if that would be something that people would, it would appeal to people.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that is, you know, sometimes the things that we do have, you know, unexpected, consequences. And I think that, I think it was really helpful, excuse me, to the town to have started to really sort of think through the parklet idea and, and how outdoor seating is used and what kinds of things, could be done in the downtown to be able to create these kinds of environments over the course of about a year as we worked through the thing with the French press. And so, when it came to, really needing to be able to do this, my hope is that, it gave them more confidence to be able to look at the things that were, that were being done and that, that we had already worked through in terms of the thought process and the discussions and some of that. And allowed them to see opportunities as soon as they had the flexibility from the regulation standpoint to be able to actually do it. And I wrote a letter to the town, I think, that I sent out to you guys so you could, see that. But I couldn't have been more thrilled and excited about and proud of how the town really responded. I mean, when I got a call from, when I called actually and talked to Mo Handel the day after the selectmen were able to vote to be able to roll those tables out on the town common and around the different commons, that he was like, we just want to be able to help and we want to do something that we can put into action fast, and because we can't wait on this kind of thing. And as soon as they were able to get the green light to be able to have that flexibility of decision, they jumped on it. And then the whole rollout of the Jersey barriers to block off the sections, like instant parklets all over the place. I hope you guys have gotten a chance to eat out at some of the outdoor seating locations, but man, it's fun. I mean, I've eaten, my wife and I have eaten at the James on a couple of 2 or 3 occasions, and we wanted to eat at the Sweet Basil the other night, but it rained. So, and we even tried to get takeout there, and the program that Sandy Sincata put together, and I know you're out there, Sandy, but I'm saying it anyway, that Sandy put together with her team to be able to roll out this dine out. Man, the 4 different places that I talked to, 2 of which were already sold out before I could even, I called it like 5 minutes of 7. And 2 of them had already sold out of their specials before I even got to them. And the other 2 all said, this has been a great boost. It's been really successful, and we've gotten a lot of activity. And, that it had set up as a rain date. But when I called them, I said, hey, so because it's raining, is it going to be changed? And they were like, no, people have been ordering like takeout everywhere. so even if they couldn't have them sit outside, hey, they got the sales anyway because they got all the takeout orders. So that is, like one of those unexpected consequences of them having geared up so much to be able to do takeout, is that rain or shine on these kind of events, it doesn't matter as much because they don't have to sit them in the restaurant. They can just sell the food as fast as they can make it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's been a really great thing. And you're right. And we need to continue to make the connection that a lot of the things that we see in the environment are things that we can do to be able to really uplift people's spirits, to make them feel better about the just being in the town, and even under the circumstances. Yeah, they have to wear a mask, but they can still do a lot of things. They can still be in public spaces, which are more important than ever. And what can we do to be able to make them even more wonderful spots to accomplish that? So one of the things I thought that we might do is and I can put together a sort of an outline for this. I thought that one of the things that's been most effective for us is being able to actually talk to people or communicate with people that we personally know, to be able to ask them to help. We've got, as I said, basically $3,000 that we need to make up, and $5,000 that we really need to get into the, past the first quarter of 2021. And so, being able to do that throughout this season is really important to us as a fund, so that we can actually keep the banner and flag program running. As we know, it costs us over $10,000 a year to be able to operate the program. And, since we started it back in 2003 or 4, we've been absolutely, blessed with being able to have people continue to donate to help make, this all work. But, every year is different. Every circumstance we run into is different. And so we have to always be vigilant about being able to connect with people, make sure that we remind them of the value that they're getting from these things, since they, you see them all the time and you just take them for granted and say, well, it does feel like that. But the fact is, there's a bunch of us out there that are really, turning the gears and, and making this all happen. And, and we need your help to do it, because it's the only way it works. So what do you think about being able to put together sort of just the main points that you as individuals could just put into an email that you would just send out to your friends who live in Needham, and just say, hey, I'm a member of the committee, and, the Revitalization Trust Fund has done, so many great things, but, we could really use your support, particularly this year, because it's been tough. We've lost a number of sponsors because they couldn't do their events. And it's a time when we, we really want to make sure that we can keep the positive, uplifting things that we're doing in the town constantly there for people to see and experience. So just let me know, do you think the letter writing campaign would be something that we could all do?
Yes. I
Yeah,
think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I think there's a lot that, people are not aware of what the committee is responsible for. And a lot of obviously the banners, obviously, and then also the, you've said in different emails, the outdoor seating, which is something that really resonates with a lot of people right now. Having that opportunity to have outdoor seating at their local restaurant is really helpful. So I think a letter writing campaign that incorporates all the different things that the committee does makes sense. It would resonate.
And one of the things that I can do also in that is that I can also start posting again our appeal video. We have 2 different ones that we can use and rotate. And the third is that I can do some Facebook Lives. And, that we can basically schedule it, and then we could send that out to our own mailing lists that we're going to do as Facebook Live. And, basically I can, put it together so we can talk about the different projects, talk about some of the things that are waiting for funding, but also talk about just the core, things that we do that, that most people aren't aware that we even, have a part in. So that's, that's basically where we're at in terms of that. So I can put together those key points and send that out to you. And, we can, actually start that anytime, like, the sooner the better, especially as we start to get into September. So I'm actually technically away next week, but I will put together those key points and send you out an email, and then let you guys just, craft your own version of it. So you're speaking, from the heart, from you. And let's see, and then I'll give you the link that goes right to needhamma.gov/NCRTF. So they can go to the donation page and right from the email and make a donation right away if they want to. So, I mean, the donations of any size, we have some people who give us $25, a couple of times a year, all the time. We have other people who donate, $500, others $100, and some obviously, much more. But it's this combination of all these donations that really help us fund and move forward and get to do the projects. So, and we have, it's one of those projects. We have a project that is completed and approved, also for Thorpe Park, which is the signal control box. So we have plenty of things that between the art gallery, the signal control box, and a number of other things that are all just looking for funding. We could start, if we can get some decent levels of money into the fund, we can start to have things pop up around town and really delight people. So,
Oh, I just had one question. Would this letter go out to the mailing list that the committee has already, or would it go out to just contacts that we have?
it would be, well, your letter would go out to all your contacts. What I'll do is I'm actually started pulling one of the things that we talked about earlier is the fact that until we started actually having people enter their email address or ask for their email address in the forms when they were making donations, that a lot of times we didn't have the ability to actually communicate with them by email. But now we have a lot more of those emails available. So now it's a matter of basically culling them from the sheets that they filled out and being able to communicate with them. And that's one of the things that I'll be putting together over the next few weeks is getting those all consolidated, as many as we can, to at least get it off the ground. And then we can continue to build a mailing list from there as an organization. Because most of the things that we've done are people, we do communications through our own network of people. People donate, and so we don't actually weren't actually doing things that were accumulating email addresses because we weren't having them sign up for things. They just basically went to the website and donated or sent a check into the town hall. And we didn't run, formal fundraisers, which obviously collects a lot of addresses too. So we have to take a little different approach, but we need to build that list. And the stronger we can build that list from the people that the more we can communicate with, and also keep up to date all the time on exactly what it is we're doing, what the new projects are. Sounds like an obvious thing, but we just evolved in a slightly different way than a lot of organizations. So that's one of the things that we have to adjust to and solve.
Paul?
Yep.
Eddie Bruckner's artwork.
Yes.
Did you see in the newspaper this week that he has been given a job in New York for several? Yes.
But I didn't see it, but is he moving to New York, or is he just
No, his artwork has been accepted.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Now, do we have a price yet?
Yes,
on Bruckner's?
that box is $5,000.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Because 2/3 of that is paying Eddie for his work.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yeah.
sure, our projects are more expensive, but they're more expensive because, one of the things we've tried to do is take the approach that artists, should be paid, for what they're creating. And, part of the way we support them is being able to, give them a fair, earnings for the art that they create, the projects that we do.
I think
Yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I know that oftentimes the approach is let's just find out who can, who will donate it.
Yep.
And say, okay, well, that's great, but how is that, there's notoriety, and then there's, am I eating regularly? It's, and we want to be in the category of, helping them support their families and those kinds of things. And so that's why we've taken that approach. We did that with the Welcome to Needham signs. I mean, they were all carved, all hand carved. And, we found an artist and paid him, what it cost to be able to create those signs by hand. And, part of that is supporting him as an artist, and the other part of it is supporting that whole craft that is basically fading out.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people are actually hand carving anything. Now they're all doing it with laser lathes and things along that line. So, the more we can help support the art community and in different ways, I think the better.
Yep.
So I know we are coming up on the last 8 minutes of our time. So, unmute if you can and tell me what are your thoughts, and what other things do you think we might be able to do in terms of fundraising, and also in terms of just other projects that you think we might want to get involved in and look to talk about at a next meeting.
We had talked about legacy money when Kate brought that up.
Do you mean like endowment?
Like people, because they wanted to give money because they have for that.
Are you talking about like wills and trusts and those kinds of things?
Well, that too, but I was thinking more in terms of, gifts or in memory of, or that type of thing.
Well, that's something that's a very good point, and it's also one of the things that we should be mentioning. And I'll put in this, in the details, the key points for you, is exactly that kind of thing. Is to talk to people and just plant the seed that donating in the memory of someone. That many projects actually can have naming pieces for them, and it's a great way to be able to say thank you to people who have meant a lot to you in your lives. I mean, certainly the whole celebration bench program is an example of that, and they're like
Right.
all over them.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So, and it's great. I mean, to be able to see the variety of different ways that people say thank you. The little phrases that they make up, or even just enjoy life. All those things are just wonderful expressions of gratefulness. Other thoughts?
Someone could do, and it would be kind of fun, if you're on the Common or you're at one of the restaurants, do a Facebook Live 30-second thing to everybody on your Facebook page, everybody that sees your page, and just say, where you are, what it is, and mention, NCRTF. as, as having contributed to this, setting or this, whatever is there. I think it would just, they're so easy and fast, and, and if you don't spend a half an hour thinking about whether your hair looks good or you've got makeup on, which is a problem, but I know. They can, they're really easy. They're really easy, and they could have some impact.
Well, I will definitely jump on that bandwagon. But there's nothing better than having a bunch of us do that kind of thing, because it's the more little, the little times when we just, it shows up one here and one there and one here and one there, and people are like, wow, there seems to be a lot of conversation going on around about, the different, the sculptures and the banners and all of those kinds of things, just getting them into people's minds. That as we go out and reach out for more, to more and more people, that awareness helps them go, yeah, I heard somebody talking about that. That was kind of a neat thing. Maybe I should learn a little more. So yeah, that kind of stuff can be hugely helpful. Now, I guess let's do the embarrassing raise of hands. How many of you are actually fearless enough to do short Facebook Lives from locations? I don't see anybody raising their hand.
I do them all the time. I do them.
Well, maybe you could give some training.
No, I'm not giving any training. They're awful. They're amateurish. No, I've done a ton of them. They're fine. They're easy. They, once you get over feeling stupid, it's fine. It's easy.
Yeah, believe me, that was, I actually did, I usually shoot a lot of things in video just for my business. And today I actually did my first Facebook Live, directly from my deck. And, my way of being able to develop the confidence to be able to do it live was I brought along a little balloon pal as my companion. So he appears in the video, and he was my psychological buddy to be able to actually do my first Facebook Live. So if you're on Facebook and you follow me, you'll be able to see him there. And I thank him at the end too, because I couldn't have done it without him. So maybe the same thing can work for you. But anyway, I wanted to just see if there's any final comments, since we're coming to the wrap up here. And I know Sandy also wants to probably go to dinner, since she's our host. So if you guys can all unmute for a moment and just mention anything that want to get in as last comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I find these meetings very easy. Not having to leave my house. This is my, I don't know. We had 4 Zoom meetings going on in my house the other day. 4 different people were doing Zoom meetings in the house. 2 different things. It was just very easy.
Definitely more convenient for sure. You think about the time it takes to get to a location and coming back from it. You're probably saving at least half an hour total.
Yeah, it's very easy. I probably do at least one a day.
What about you, Ashley?
Yeah, this is pretty convenient. It also, if I am in the office, it enables me to attend these meetings from the office, which is nice. But in terms of projects, I think that, I love the way the downtown is looking right now. I would love to get some of the projects that we've been talking about for a while funded. That would be awesome. And I think that now is maybe not the best time to be asking people for money, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe people are listening more now. I'm not sure. So I think we should give it a shot and see if we can get some of these things funded.
That's great.
The other question would be is if there's a way to do a virtual fundraiser where we're highlighting the projects that we've done and what we're going to be doing, and if there's any kind of VIP that we could get to host it or something like that, that would be a draw. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking of. I know a lot of political folks that I see and work with are doing virtual fundraisers where they're pulling a VIP that they would never get to do an in-person meeting, but they're able to do it virtually. Might be something that we should think about.
Well,
I
that's interesting. I wonder, are a lot of the fundraising dollars, I wonder if people aren't listening right now because so many, I know that I get text messages all the time asking me for political contributions right now. So maybe this isn't the best time to be sending that appeal. Maybe we should wait until late November or something, but I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, after the election, it would make a lot of sense too.
We can. I made a note of it. What we'll do is at the September meeting, we'll talk about what we think about as far as the timing of that. But I think it's a really interesting idea, and you could just call up Justin Bieber and ask him to stop by.
Right.
But anybody,
Yeah, we'd get a lot of Needham people with money at that.
Yeah. But if you know any MPs who you think might be great to be involved in it and would be help us yay rah rah in terms of the fundraiser and invite their friends. Think about it, and in September, let's put together some names and see if there's some people who'd be interested to be able to support us.
Yeah. You know what, Paul? One other thing I do want to mention before we close up, in terms of fundraising, because that does seem to be, the most important thing right now. Is there any way, I don't want to create a bunch of work, but is there any way to sort of show us what the most effective fundraising has been in the past, where most of our donations have come in, where, just so that we are targeting correctly? Do we have that data, or is it easily obtained so that, is it mostly small donations trickling in, or is it mostly when we go to people and say, hey, can you give us $25,000 to fund this one project? What's been our most effective route in the past?
Sure.
I actually have to run, but
Okay.
I'll be on the next one.
All right.
Yeah, maybe that's just a topic for September. It's just something that I've been wondering about.
Sure. Well, I can definitely answer that question. Even just, we can talk about it more another time, but the gist of it is the majority of the money that we have as for sponsorships and even for donations have been, and we're probably over more than $300,000 now in terms of donations since the fund has come from one-on-one conversations, asking people to donate to a particular project in particular, because that inspires people to do that, or a particular type of thing.
Yeah.
A bench, or things along that line. Almost all of them have almost all the donations have come in through exactly that kind of one-on-one conversation.
Okay. So, forgive me if I'm behind the times on this, I'm catching up, but it makes more sense rather than talking about what we've done to talk about what we're going to do, right? And so I guess I would suggest that that's up front in whatever we decide to do, for fundraising and the letter. These are our top 3 priorities, and it seems like that's a bigger draw than what we've done in the past.
So the top 3 priorities, you're saying in terms of the letter itself? Just explain that.
Yeah, in terms of projects, if we're asking people for money, it seems like they're more likely to be inspired to donate to this if we're forward looking rather than backward looking.
Right.
So if I were sending it to my closest contacts here, I would want to say, hey, look at this, look at what you can donate to, not what's already been done. I mean, I know that we're very proud of that, and rightfully so. but for some reason that just doesn't seem to resonate as much in terms of the ask. So
No, that'll be great, and actually I think that's right on. I think people are always saying, so what's the next new thing that we can do?
yeah,
and we're happy to deliver that.
right, exactly. We've got a bunch of projects waiting for you.
That's right.
But yeah, that's it from me.
All righty. Any last comments? Because I know Sandy's got to go.
I just wouldn't. I agree with Ashley's point. I think being more forward-looking makes a lot more sense, and there's a lot of great projects that are in the pipeline. So it makes a lot of sense to emphasize that. Maybe there's a way to strike a balance of talking about maybe one or two things that people didn't know that the committee has actually been responsible for, but then really having the bulk of the communication being about what is coming next and what we're working on and what we just want to do in the future. But I agree with Ashley's point.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all.
Vote. Excuse me, Paul. Don't forget to vote to adjourn.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say that we now need to officially, since we are through the official channel, now we need to officially vote to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Be it.
All right. Then we are officially adjourned. And thank you very much. And we will tune in September.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see everyone. Bye-bye.